Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Spunkovai here on behalf of MMOBomb.com, and welcome back to our first impression series. Today we're going to be taking a look at Nosgoth, which is an asymmetrical PvP title developed by Psyonix Studios and published by Square Enix. It's currently in closed beta, having only been there for a couple of days, so we're going to go ahead and jump in, check it out, but remember that everything we're going to see here is subject to change and probably will to some extent. Now, for those of you unfamiliar with Nosgoth, or the actual premise or the location of Nosgoth, it's actually based on a very popular older action-adventure series called Legacy of Kain, which dealt with a secret society of clans of vampires, their struggles within, and their struggles against humans. Now, that was an action-adventure platformer single-player experience that you guys would play through on the PlayStation 1, through the PlayStation 2, the Xbox, and the GameCube. That was the last time the series was actually published as a single-player experience. Nosgoth is nothing like Legacy of Kain in the sense that it does not utilize any of the gameplay mechanics of the original. Instead, as an asymmetrical PvP game, it pits humans versus vampires during a period of time that was a little bit hazy in the Legacy of Kain universe. Right after the main protagonist, Kain, had killed Raziel, which is one of his lieutenants or vampires. In the Legacy of Kain universe, there are 6 vampire lieutenants, each of them possessing a different mutation or abilities, which sort of plays into the Nosgoth classes system, whereby there's vampires with different abilities. But after killing Raziel, he disappears in Nosgoth. Kain disappears for an untold amount of time, resulting in this internal war between the humans as well as the vampires, and the vampires also quarreling amongst themselves for a time before uniting to take on the humans and try to eradicate them and push them back from Nosgoth and regain control of this city that they once had ultimate control over and use the humans for cattle. So that is the current lore situation, and this has left, of course, many fans upset about the game, upset about what they've done to the lore, and upset about the fact that, of course, there isn't a new Legacy of Kain title that's single player. That being said, if you take the lore out of it, the game actually is very enjoyable, even in its closed beta state, which is currently pretty early. So why don't we go ahead then and jump into a game just so you guys can see how the game plays before we talk a little bit about what makes the game so special. Now, in order to hop into a game, we're able to currently hit play and then select from a playlist below. It doesn't actually allow you to choose any custom games right now or allow you to sort of hook up with friends, although you can party up with them and then queue. You merely can't have a private party, it seems, in order to create a custom private game. In terms of game modes, there are 2 currently available, with more to come in the future. There is Team Deathmatch as well as Siege, Siege being unlocked at level 10. And of course, New Recruit, but that is also Team Deathmatch, and basically just serves as a way for new players to hang out in a particular area and play with other players who aren't familiar with the game like they are. There is a ton of skill ceiling to be had in Nosgoth, and you'll see exactly what I mean by this once we jump into a game. Now, we'll just go ahead and hit search here, which will try to match us up with a team. The game is 4v4 with 4 humans versus 4 vampires, which may seem like a small amount, but this game is very similar in a lot of ways to the gameplay found in Left 4 Dead Versus modes, which, if you guys are familiar with that, pits these zombie special infected along with the humans against each other. Now, unlike Left 4 Dead, there is no campaign, there is no ultimate objective for the humans to do other than to kill the vampires. That being said, there are additional modes such as Siege, where the humans and the vampires do have separate objectives. The vampires must kill the humans, and then the humans must actually erect or, find these objective locations and hold on to them for as long as possible before getting eradicated by the vampires. So that is a case of 2 separate objectives, but not in the same sense as Left 4 Dead, where one team is trying to progress to an end goal and survive. Still, the actual PvP mechanics, the way that the game works in terms of the characters attacking each other, using tactics to work together, one side being extremely weak to a particular type of attacks, whereas the other is extremely strong at another type of attacks. Those type of elements available in Left 4 Dead are also seen here in Nosgoth. The vampires themselves are extremely fast, they are extremely mobile, they can climb buildings, they can move very quickly, and they have high-powered melee attacks, close-range attacks. The humans, by comparison, do not have the same sort of ability to withstand damage. They take a lot less to kill versus the vampires. However, they have access to long-range weaponry, which allows them to shoot at vampires and sort of deflect their abilities before the vampires can get close. The Hunter, Alchemist, and Scout are the current 3 available classes which will play throughout the game here, whereas the vampires have the Reaver, Tyrant, and Sentinel. Each of these classes are good at a particular style of gameplay, and sometimes you're going to want to mix and match which actual classes you use during a battle to sort of counter what the enemy is using. Some of the classes are natural counters to each other. Looks like this match here is almost about to begin, but just to speed it up here, we're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. Okay guys, so the game is now loading in. We're loading into Summer Dam, which is one of the maps available. In terms of where we're fighting within Nosgoth to sort of reclaim the city if you're playing as the vampires. As the humans, you're trying to eradicate the last of the vampires, sort of push them back once and for all out of the city and regain control over the entire city itself. Now I'm going to play as a Reaver here to begin with, which is most closely resembles something akin to a Hunter if you've ever played Left 4 Dead versus mode. The Reaver here, by hitting shift, I'm able to climb walls very quickly, as you can see, and just by holding shift I jump large distances and climb walls up again. Now there are the case of the humans, and I do not actually want to fight humans head on because as a Reaver here I am very exposed if I go in alone. We usually want to attack the enemy as a whole, as a entire group, but it looks like the humans are already a little bit split up. As humans, you're going to need to actually stick together, seeing as how much disable and damage the vampires can do. So here we go. One of the tanks are going in here. Oh my god, Tina. Looks like they're already killing people. I'm going to jump, lunge on him, and rip his face off right there. So we got a kill. Now, if I was to have taken damage, I could go down here and actually execute the player. As you see, I get some experience from that. And by executing the player, I'm able to regain any lost health. Vampires naturally do regenerate a portion of their health, although they do not regenerate the full. Humans, on the other hand, have to go to small supply stations where they can actually pick up, after a certain amount of time, more health as well as ammo. So while the vampire classes are more hampered by their close range attacks as well as the cooldowns, the humans are more confined due to their ability not to generate health, and they have to, of course, get mana. Oh god, I missed him. There we go. So here we can see this guy's putting stuff into me, but overall, he got lucky there. So he actually turned around and began firing at me, straight at me, immediately after I hit the ground. I actually missed my pounce, unfortunately, and I think I was actually the first kill of the team, or first death rather. It happens sometimes. Now, my right mouse button is the classic sort of pounce maneuver. I can change these abilities out simply by purchasing a new ability in the shop, or sometimes you actually gain new abilities just by playing as a sort of random unlock that you just get after matches. I have yet to get any, but I have seen players get those. My Q ability allows me to throw a smoke bomb of sorts. I've had that changed out right now. Normally it has a disorienting smoke bomb, which players cannot see through if they're humans. But I currently have a noxious poison bomb, which when thrown allows me to do damage in a wide AoE. So this player here is kind of cornered. He can't really go anywhere, and he's going to be taken out pretty easily. I'm kind of just coming around looking for an opportunity to pounce on an unsuspecting person alone. Aha! There we go. Alright. Let's see if we can do this. Boom! Right there. Alright, so jump down this a little bit there. And I'm now pouncing on top. Alright, did he die? No, I think he actually got picked up. Alright, so there's the humans. Got a kill exister, as you can see. And you can kind of hear the tick doing additional damage to people. It's a good way to disrupt them, get them to move out, because humans typically do, they love to sort of group up in small areas. You'll notice there's a lot of indoor areas where they can hide from and cause the vampires to sort of try to funnel in. Looks like he's trying to survive there. There's one of the flying vampires. He just used his ability to take off in the air. I'm looking for any humans here that I may pounce on. I think that's my main ability. Let's see if this guy comes through. Come on out, buddy. Boom! There we go. So there's an example of using someone as a distraction. Now I'm just going to climb this hill here. I don't want to actually be close. And my ability is now on cooldown. So what I can do, I can melee attack, but I'm just going to run away. Throw a noxious bomb over there. I know that's where they're at. sort of try to drive them away, if you will. And as you notice, my health is regenerating. Now, I am currently... Boom. Get him. There, I got a kill. Nice. Now, I'm currently doing pretty well, actually. Alright. So you notice here, vampires, they have very wide motions. When I attack, it's very sweeping, you know, in an area. Let's go ahead and execute this guy. Boom. Get a little bit of health regeneration there. They use very broad attacks, you know, and they sort of swing their body back and forth. The humans, in contrast, they have very accurate aim. They can aim their guns quite well. There is some recoil to them, but they're able to hit their shots pretty easily. That guy's going to get dropped over there. You notice he got dropped about for half of his HP, and then it looks like he's trying to do additional damage there to take him out. All right, I'm going to try to pounce on this guy here. Oh, I miss him. All right, so here's an example of what happens when you miss anything. In the case of the Reaver, I can actually make myself invulnerable for an amount of time. It does seem overpowered, but in fact, you can still be hit by abilities that do damage in AoE and get killed by that. It only is a sort of deflector of just normal bullets and attacks. Oh my god, right over his face. Alright, so I'm going to throw this down here, and then I'll just run away. And you notice my ability is up pretty quickly, so I can evade quite often if you mess up, which is nice. But again, I can always opt to swap that out if I feel like I'm not using it as much with a more appropriate ability. I just merely have to unlock that ability, which we'll talk about cash shops after the match is over. Now you notice we're doing pretty well here, 22-4. So the enemy is not doing a good job of sort of remaining together, sticking together, and sort of fighting us off, picking out classes that are more appropriate. There we go. Just gonna bounce right on this guy here. I don't think he has any chance. All right, and then just a quick bloop. Now what I can do is, if I feel as though I need to heal, but it's not a opportune area, I can merely just drag this body over here, as you can see, away from the action, and feast at my leisure. Alright, so the game actually will end at 30. It will stop being the vampires at 30, and then it will switch over sides with the humans taking the places of vampires, the vampires taking the places of humans. Usually the matches are a lot closer than this, but there can be times, of course, where one team is newer, they're less accustomed to the game, or they're simply just not playing, they're not playing well, you know, they're playing as a team well. And this guy looks like he's going to kill me. Yep. Exploded there, the alchemist, as you can see. So we can go to loadouts here. We only need a couple more kills. I'll go ahead and pick my favorite class, which of course is the Sentinel. Boom. You just dropped that guy out of nowhere. It is very difficult to sort of just outright kill someone as a Reaver just by picking them up. So generally speaking, you're not going to find yourself instantly being killed if you're in the clutches of a Reaver. I actually have my Reaver set up so that I do the majority of my damage not on the drop, but on the initial damage that I pick them up. So you notice there I do quite a bit of damage there. He's been taken quite low, and then I can... Oh, that was not the right ability. That's what I thought that was. There we go. Oh, last kill. I got the last kill. So there's my sort of attack where I use my wings to pierce the target, kill them, and do a lot of damage. So I did 5, 2, and 6. Wow, we had a guy that did 11, 1. Quite impressive. So now we're going to switch sides. The enemy side is going to have a chance to redeem themselves as the vampires, while we switch to humans. I'll start off with the hunter class, which is probably going to be the most played and definitely the easiest class to understand. I've got a crossbow set up currently, which fires, I believe, multi-bursts, a few bolts at a time. It's basically like a machine gun with crossbolts. So you can see I can fire about 3 bolts at a time. The normal crossbow will fire continuously until it runs out of ammo, but 3 bursts allows you to sort of get in hits a lot quicker. Each of the guns has like a trade-off, you know. They may be faster to fire but do less damage, and may be able to do more damage on each shot but require more time to charge up, as that weapon is. That's a charge weapon right there. You have to hold down the right mouse button. And also when you zoom in to sort of get a better shot, your actual ability to see where you're going or see, you know, who's around you is very limited. Oh god, like that. So I can throw that on him, which is what I did. That was a, oh god, couldn't kill him, unfortunately. That was a form of oh no, come on. Oh, at least I got an assist there. All right. So the Reaver is kind of like a natural counter somewhat to the Hunter. He has his ability to get in close very quickly, and even though I have an ability to sort of mitigate or, you know, lock them up with these bolas, which will chain around them. And in my case, chain around them and do damage. The normal ones just simply chain around. I'm forced to sort of try to evade as much as possible, which can be extremely hard to do. The vampires are just naturally faster than you, but we do more damage. Our weapons do more damage, and of course we can fire from a greater range. Looks like he was trying to prevent that player from healing up. We really should be inside though, but you really want to stay with the team when possible. Cannot go up there and help him, he's too far. This is why you need to stay as a team. He's using his ability there to evade. Now, as you can see, the gameplay is pretty straightforward. It's kill or be killed. There is a nice hunted element to it, and both the hunters and the hunted can switch at any time, just dependent on. Let's go ahead and heal. Here's an example of the supply depot. After a couple of uses, it does get used up. You have to find a new one on the map. But depending on how well your team is sort of working together, it can feel like being hunted or it can feel like being the hunter, and regardless of whether you're playing the vampires or the humans, which is, I think, is a really nice thing. It doesn't always feel like one side is less powerful than the other. If one side is working as a team better, both sides will inevitably work together well. Wow, they've really got this one here. Let's go ahead and throw that. Oh my god, I just saw Reavers come out of nowhere. There's like 4 Reavers. Are they all Reavers? They're all Reavers. Alright, so let's go ahead. I'll change now to the Alchemist, which is perhaps one of the better classes to be when against Reavers. I was not expecting 4 smoke bombs in my face at one time and 4 Reavers using their ability to mitigate damage and rushing up in front of me. Alright, so it's tied, as you can see here. And generally speaking, the vampires, it's usually easier to do well as vampires. There we go, got a kill. There we go, got another kill. Gotta reload. No, 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 no. There's another kill. Alright, I need to heal up really quickly. I kind of feel like I'm going to get owned, and I need to regroup with my team. I am a sitting duck, and alone I am not going to do much on my own. They will close the gap and take me out quite quickly. So, luckily I'm able to regroup with my team, and you notice I have now my ammo. Generally speaking, you don't really run out of ammo too often. I don't really find myself having to go to the supply depot to get more ammo. It's usually to get more health, since that is the, oh god. That is usually the most difficult part to do. Oh no, he died. Okay. Watch out. There we go, got a kill in there. And as you can see here, this is acting pretty good actually against I used a blind mechanism, so they've been blind in there. They can't actually see anything too well. Oh god. Lit him on fire. But see, I'm not actually faster than him, so he moves extremely quickly. In this case, he's just going to heal up. What did he have? I think he had the thrash ability, which makes him attack much faster. Alright.
Free this town from vampires.
So we're still doing okay. 3 or 4 ahead. Generally speaking, it's just who can do the most damage as a vampire. Because, I mean, come on. Vampires, if you're playing well, the vampires are naturally just going to be able to get in close. And that's sort of why it's important to get inside as non-vampires. Because that really mitigates and reduces the vantage point. Oh, man. That guy just tore into me. Alright, so we can go to scout here. I can show off the scout. I have throw knives, turret, cat-like reflexes, although I can increase my maximum health, and swift bow. I'm going to go ahead and go with the storm bow, though.
Kain is gone.
I believe the storm bow allows me to do explosive damage after hitting someone with an arrow. And you notice here, as it charges up, there is a slight delay before the arrow actually fires. It isn't definitely doesn't feel like a hit detection weapon. Feels much more akin to, you know, projectile weapon. Hit scan, rather. So they're getting cornered, which is not good. Whoa, looks like I just kind of had a little bit of lag there. Alright. There we go, there's a kill. There's that guy. Put down my trap, which is doing quite a lot of damage to him. Looks like he was running away. Oh, hey, buddy. Boom! So he was trying to just evade me, step to the side, but this is explosive bolts on my weapon here, so I can sort of just zone them out a little bit. This is not good. As you can see, that is what happens, unfortunately. Get owned in the face with that arrow. Too bad there's no, I don't think there's, oh, there we go, got him. So I did hit him. That was a nice shot there. I typically think that I do the worst with this class. Now you can't actually do your own damage. Your own damage to yourself with the turret, so you will take additional damage if you stand next to it. Just basically ensures that, and that goes for any ability rather, any AOE ability as both a hunter, as both a human and a vampire will cause you to do damage to yourself if you stand in it. Just basically ensures that you can't just spam AOE and stand in it and not take any damage. These guys over here. So that trap out. Go ahead and heal up really quickly here. Oh, hey. There, get out of here. Oh, man, I really like shooting, like, explosive arrows into these guys. Got a little piece of them there. Oh, crap. Come on, jump. Oh, come on, blow up. Oh, damn. Was not quite enough. You can see he's quite low. I do like the fact that there's a lot of atmosphere in the animations. You know, the characters, they respond to damage. They stagger backwards if you stun them a little bit. And as a vampire, you can really stick to a lot of surfaces. There's not too many surfaces that you can't climb. And your character automatically, knows how far to jump or tries to make jumps, even if he's not able to make the jump, and some characters can jump really far. Oh, God. Shoot arrows. I think I got him. So this is an example of what happens when you're completely disoriented and blind. I'm so blind, I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna sit behind here so I don't get hit. That's what happens when, that's good, or they actually didn't capitalize on that, but I was completely blinded there for the majority of the time. And unfortunately, oh, I thought that was a body. I thought he was coming down to kill me. Nope, just a dead body. Boom. Man, explosive arrows, so fun. Now you don't actually take damage from your other allies at AoE, so you do not have to worry. I've got like soot on my face now. You don't have to worry about someone accidentally killing you as a teammate. That being said, you can alert people where you are by shooting off a projectile, in case you wanted to say, be a little bit more stealthy. Would have been awesome if I hit that guy as he came up. Oh, I got an assist there on the last. So at the very end, it tallies up the score. As you can see, we pretty much crushed there, 60 to 28. Wasn't really close at all. With me being second, 15,019 damage. What I'm going to do here is show off the, of course, cash shop really quickly so you can get a sense of how that works. And then I'll cut back to some gameplay, show off a little bit more of the vampire since we didn't get to show too much of that off in the last round. And that'll be the first look. Alright, so returning to the lobby here, as you can see. And I'll get a better lobby too, just to sort of try to get a little bit more gameplay that's closer on both sides. Now, going to the store really quick, let's go ahead and exit out there. We can go to the store. As you'll notice here, under the equipment, you can purchase all the equipment in the game that goes for not only the special abilities, which you can equip for each character, but also the weapons. You can buy them with in-game currency. as well as cash shop currency. So if you really wanted any of these things, you could merely purchase them with real money if you did. Now that being said, that doesn't necessarily mean it's pay to win. Of course, everything is still accessible with gold, and everything I purchased as up to this point in terms of customizing my character has been with gold. But it does sort of alarm me, you know, in the sense that maybe in the final release, these things will be sort of gated, if you will, behind levels or, you know, classes, because you notice the classes, each of the sort of individual classes have their own leveling system, their own progress system. Currently, that doesn't unlock anything. That doesn't unlock a skill tree or any sort of perk slots or anything like that. But I can definitely imagine in the future certain abilities you would only be able to use once you've sort of leveled up to a certain level, and you could just buy the other ones if you wanted to with real currency and immediately use it. That is a fear that I have, but as of yet, you can't make that judgment. It hasn't been implemented. You're able to purchase the weapons or items or abilities either on a 7-day trial or permanently for usually about 5 times what the original cost is, as you can see here. And that goes for both currency that's in game as well as cash up currency as well. I found that matches do not give you a lot of gold at all. I have an experience boost and a gold boost currently going, which was given to me in the alpha, that increases my experience in gold by 50%. Yet on a loss, I still only gain about 84 gold. On a win, I gain maybe something like 110, 120. That does fluctuate a little bit based on your performance. So, of course, the better you do, the better you score and the more gold you get. However, I haven't seen that play a huge part, at least not yet, in terms of I've been, you know, near top scoring and still only gotten about 120. So those are some things that I could definitely recommend being changed or at least increased. If this is what it is with a 50% gold increase, it's going to take something like 30 games just to unlock one new equipment piece, and that's assuming those games are good games for you, which a lot of times can snowball either direction depending on how good your team is at coordinating and choosing the right setups and sort of countering the enemy team's tactics. So as you can see here, there's skins as well as boosts and tools currently available to buy. Tools, these have yet to be really embellished upon or explained. It does appear that you can buy classes eventually, so some of the classes may be restricted. You'll have to purchase them with in-game gold. As of now, everything is unlocked and available to everyone. You do still have to purchase the equipment and perks, but all the classes come day one. And I really hope they do not restrict classes in the in-game. You know, keep in mind this is yet to be final. They can make changes. I hope they do not restrict the classes behind these paywalls. I hope everything sort of is available initially, because you need certain classes, I feel, to be really effective, and certainly a lot of classes aren't going to be your style. Why force yourself to play a class that you not necessarily don't understand? It's not like League of Legends or Dota, where there's a bunch of classes, a bunch of different champions to try. These are pretty select, and they have a really, you know, high skill ceiling in how you're going to play each and every one of them. So you're going to want to get good at them, and you're going to want to try to play them a lot so you understand them. Those are some of my initial sort of concerns. Other than that, the profiles just give you some general breakdowns as you score, how many kills you've gotten with, and, you know, general statistics for each class, which I do like. Love statistics in games. Glad to see that. But why don't we go ahead now and jump back in the game, try to get some more vampire footage before we wrap this first look up. Alright guys, so we got into a new game here. It's 8, 18, 1, and 7 versus a 16, 11, 6, and 7. Kind of feel like we may be on the losing side here. We've got a little bit lower amount of players in terms of their level of experience. In this game, it's very, very experience-based. You know, you're going to learn a lot of mechanics by playing the game over a long period of time. So as you can see there, I've sort of scouted them out a little bit. I can see where they are. I took a little bit of damage. I don't think I'll regain any of that particular HP. But we'll just sort of got 3 different guys here going. I'm going to zoom in here, try to grab another one. There we go. Grab my own little guy. And as you can see, the disruption has already begun. Unfortunately, though, it's 1-to-1. It's 2-to-1 now in their favor. They managed to take out 2 of my companions, but they're most likely wounded. And I missed them. Alright, so as you notice, I can quickly get back on top of buildings. It's very difficult for them to easily... Oh, God, he hit me. Oh, don't. I think he hit me with one of the charge shots of the explosives I was using last time. There we go. Alright, so we're going to drop him over this side. And generally speaking, you do about 1,000 damage or so. Oh, God, no! Got me with a couple of those arrows there, unfortunately. Alright, well, we can go to a different loadout here. You can see I can choose to go with the Tyrant here. The Tyrant is definitely the tank class. It's slower than all the other classes, but able to take a lot more damage and have a lot of damage mitigation. His F ability, his sort of main way to mitigate damage, is basically makes him have molten skin, but he can't, again, like the Reaver class, do any sort of attacking during that. Now, I don't like his R. I would like to change that. It is a charge, but I find the charge to be pretty actually hard to navigate. There we go. And there, that's why I don't really feel like I have the proper setup. Unfortunately, I charged in there, and that's really why you don't want to charge into everybody at once. Even if you're a big baddie, everybody does quite a lot of damage, and they can scoot their way out of the way pretty easily if they see you coming. We are up to 4 kills though, to their 8, to their 9 now. That's really not what we want to see. And it's pretty cool how you can see whenever you get hit by an arrow, the character actually reacts. This is using the Unreal 3 engine, and the atmosphere in this game, I have to hand it to Psyonix. They've done a great job. I wasn't really sure how well Psyonix would do, seeing as a lot of their titles that they have personally. Let's go ahead. Hup, boom. Come on. There we go. Oh, come on. You see there, I actually hesitated to use my ability, and that's something you'll actually find will happen. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the Sentinel here. In order to use your abilities, you have to finish the entire cast of the animation, which means if you get interrupted by damage, sufficient damage, or by an ability, you'll find yourself not able to cast your ability, and you can't actually cast it in quick succession either. I'm totally dead. And that's why you don't charge them straight up. They group up, they hit you like that, and unfortunately there's not really much you can do now. I'm not playing this correctly. They're going to group up like that. We're going to have to use some Reaver. And in fact, I should use a different Reaver, specifically the Smoke Bomb. The Gaseous Cloud is okay if you want to do damage to them, but we really need to get them disrupted, as you can see. Otherwise, they're just ripping us a new one. It's kind of what I expected. You know, we had the 2 lower levels. I'm actually doing the worst. 2,100 damage. I guess I shouldn't be jumping right at people in the face. There we go. This guy is all alone. Oh, come on! I couldn't even... Wow. I couldn't even use my special ability in time, which allowed me to become, you know, unmitigatable of damage. Everybody's just getting destroyed currently. They've got themselves in a good little corner there. And this is sort of a prime example of why I feel like it's fairly balanced. You know, if the humans are playing, I mean, sometimes you just don't get good matches. You know, the players are not working good as a team. Yeah, behind there, what are you going to do? Get him, yeah. Oh no, I'm leaving myself invulnerable. There's actually a period of time during the animation that you can't move or even get out of it. Come on. Oh no, bullet change. It's alright. We're still going to get an assist there. I can break out of those chains by going invulnerable, although, of course, I won't be able to attack anybody. Oh, God. Oh, my God, he got me. That guy, Pluck's there, doing quite well. I'm doing terrible. Holy crap. I kind of expected this, though. I mean, they're playing very good as a group, and this is one thing that I'm a little bit concerned about, in the sense that I am concerned that, as you can see, 12 to 23, not exactly close, although maybe closer than the game was for me. I am concerned that players will become aggravated, and you'll have like the toxic environment you have in other sort of competitive multiplayer games, just for the simple fact that let's go ahead and go up here. Yeah, I got the kill. All right, awesome. They continue to back up in this. Got them. All right, come on. There's one. Oh God, get up. Get up. Nope, not in time, unfortunately. He put down the trap. I didn't want to walk into the trap. But it wasn't enough. I did get an assist, though, so I will take that. And there have been comebacks. I have played games where I've been down 2 to 4 and had a pretty awesome comeback. So there is possibilities like that You just have to continue to try to work together as a team. The toxicity in the game, though, certainly could... It's pretty unfortunate they can't jump that. The toxicity in the game, though, is unfortunately something that I feel is going to happen, just because the game is very competitive. And I mean, as with 4 players, much like, say, loadout. Oh God, I gotta run. It is very important to let's go ahead and just jump down here, to work together as a team. And anyone who isn't pulling their weight, like I am, maybe, can be dead weight. See, they're just waiting there. They're just waiting. Come on, jump down on them. I'm pretty silent when I'm invisible. I mean, yeah, Plux, what's up? Oh my God, Plux, what's going on? Freddy Power there doing loads of damage to me. All right. There's only 1 kill left. They need to kill 1 person. They got the kill, unfortunately. That's the match total. There wasn't apparently a round 1. Or maybe I wasn't a part of the round 1, so it didn't show it. But, didn't do too well. I did get to show off a little bit more of the classes. Obviously, certain classes are going to be what you do best with. I find myself doing best with the Sentinel, sometimes the Reaver. Tyrant, not so much at all. But I hope you enjoyed this first look. If you guys want to learn more about the game, go ahead and check out the full profile on MMOBomb.com. Nosgoth is currently in closed beta, and you can be sure that we'll have a closed beta giveaway sometime in the near future. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Smugglify out. Later, guys.